What's good, YouTube land? Back with another One Piece game. This is going to be the semifinals of our first tournament on Twitch. It'll be Alan with Zephyr versus Jay and Kinemon. This was one of our larger tournaments where we cut to top four. So this is top four. Myself, I actually made it. And I was playing against Ryan right next to these guys, but they were the lucky ones on camera. So we will get to this game because the winner of this match was going on to the finals. So that's exciting. Alan on the left there with Zephyr kept his hand, and Jay decided to mulligan. So we'll see here in a second what they start with. So we see Jay's hand there, so it looks like he was happy with that. I saw a Capone and a Bonnie in there, so that's always good to start with. Looks like they were going over how to, quotation, properly put your life in there. Everyone at the locals has been working on kind of, bettering gameplay and all that good stuff. So it looks like Jay is starting us out. And looks like a pretty good opening hand to start with Kinemon, especially with like a tournament play like a Bonnie, Capone, Momo, stuff like that is always good to have in hand. And looks like he passes turn to Alan. We'll see what they do here. Looks like he's also got Okiku in hand and two Tokis, I believe, the one cost blocker it looks like. So next turn he could drop the Okiku and do the Bonnie effect, especially with Kinemon's, which is awesome. But we'll see what Alan looks like. Alan just passes. And I did speed this video up so that way it wouldn't be quite so long. So there is little pauses here and there with some gaps, but it looks like he does start out with Bonnie's effect. And looks like two Kikus in there, and a Pooh, a cat, and looks like one of the only targets other than a Pooh, so I'd probably grab that 7 drop as well. So Kinemon effect cheats out Okiku, swings here, and runs into a Shockwave. Probably should have attacked first there, and then threw out the Okiku. That way Alan couldn't hit him with that Shockwave. So getting rid of Bonnie. Always want to get rid of those searchers. Don't want to leave them on the board. And it looks like chucked out a Borsalino. So Jay here with 5 Dawn, which in Kinemon helps because you just get even more options, especially being able to use his effect. So it looks like plays a Momo, uses Momo's effect. Look at the top 5. And grabbing the 8 drop Odin, one of the awesome new cards in OP2. I really like a lot of the new green cards for OP2, especially since I'm still playing Eustace here and there. So adding like the 4 drop Yamato, the 8 drop Odin. There's some awesome kind of spicy cards to add in there. So we'll see what he does next. Looks like resting 2 for a killer. And swinging for 6, which is always smart, especially with Borsalino on your opponent's turn, where he gets that 1,000 boost. And looks like Alan takes the life there. So it looks like he is going to swing with leader at Momo. So once again, always getting those searchers off the board. You don't want to let your opponent be able to do those multiple times just because it gets that great card advantage. We'll see what he does next. Looks like he's got a Sakazuki, a Suru, I think a Kobe in hand. We'll see what he plays out. He's also got a blocker in there. So he could do a Kobe and a blocker. That's probably what I would do in this situation. Or you get a bigger body on board with Sakazuki. Looks like he decides to do the Kobe, pitching a card to pop the killer. Let's see what he does next. Looks like he is going to throw out that blocker as well. Back to Jay. So green's one of my favorite colors. Kinemon I just didn't vibe with though. I tried it for about a month and a half and wasn't super successful, so I went back to Eustace and Whitebeard, but Jay has been on the Kinemon train and has been playing it for a while and doing really well with it. So it looks like he's going to swing 5 at lead, which will meet that Borsalino blocker, and it looks like he's going to use Kinemon's effect to drop down that Odin. And I believe, if I remember correctly from the tournament, that's what they were talking here. Alan was saying how, you know, in larger tournaments, you're probably going to want to specify, hey, I'm using Kinemon's effect to reduce the cost on play, just because once in a while you get opponents who are sticklers on, you know, the technicalities like that. So technically, if, you know, he didn't say I'm using Kinemon's effect, you know, you get into all those kind of things with rulings. So I believe they're just having a conversation about, you know, declaring what you're doing before doing it and stuff. As we talked about with the our locals, we're working on kind of Dawn management and what we're playing, and soon we're going to be running a case tournament and larger events, so that way everyone's kind of prepared, just so you don't have to worry about those kind of sticklers with rules, and everyone's, you know, doing everything to the best of their ability. See, 2, 4, 6. So looks like he's got 8 Dawn for Alan. And he's got a lot of plays in hand. That Odin is for sure a giant threat on board, especially with AK swinging twice. So he'll definitely have to take care of that card soon. But looks like he's going to put that Dawn on Kobe and swing in and meet a Toki counter. So we'll see what he does next. So he's got that Sakazuki, so if he was able to minus Odin enough, he could pop it there. He's going to go leader on leader for 5. And Jay is going to take that life. And he's going to swing with his blocker too and meet another Toki counter. And then the 5-drop Queen, which is such a great blocker. Just a giant body plus the effect where you get a draw. One of my favorite purple cards. We'll see what Jay does here. I believe he has 9 Dawn now. So he's still got the one character on board, so he still has Kinemon's effect. I see an Izu, and it looks like maybe 2 Okikus in hand, so he could cheat out an Okiku, which would be great in this situation against that Queen and Borsalino, especially if you play both of them. So he could always cheat out an Okiku, and then he has enough Dawn that he could swing twice with his Odin. But we'll see what he decides to do here, especially because Alan's got 2 blockers active with that 3rd on board. So he's going to put the 2 Dawn and swing 10. And I'm guessing this is going at life. Almost like 3 cards in hand with at least 2 counters, but I'm guessing he's not going to pitch his whole hand there just to block that. Yeah, he's going to take the life. And it looks like he is going to use Odin's effect. Swing again at life, and it looks like block with Queen. And then swinging for 7 with Odin, which will meet a counter. Throwing out 2 Capones. So he's got 2 blockers, which is great. Able to defend that Odin, because right now that's his major threat he definitely wants to keep on the board against Alan, just to make it tougher to deal with. And now that Alan is at 10 Dawn, you always have to worry with black about 10-drop Kuzan. But we'll see what he does. So he still has that Sakazuki, looks like Tashigi, and maybe a Garp. It's a little hard to tell. So he could play out some cards to minus that Odin and then use Sakazuki's effect. Looks like he's going to attack lead here. And Jay's going to take that life, which is always great for green anytime you can get more cards in hand. Oh, he's got a Subaru in hand, so he's going to -2, putting the Odin at 6. And then Tashigi as well, minusing it another 2, bring it down to 4, and look at that, 5 Dawn on the money. He's going to throw out that Sakazuki to pop Odin. which is a great play from Alan. And it looks like Jay does miss the Odin KO trigger, which is unfortunate because he could have grabbed, you know, no Kiku or Raizo. I'm not sure what all he has in his deck, but could have had another threat on board. Well, we'll see what he does here. So Alan has, what is it, 2 blockers up, so that's going to be the main hurdle to kind of get over. Plus the Tashigi on board, you can reuse her effect next turn on something to minus it as well. So it looks like Jay is going to be swinging here. Looks like for 7, possibly with leader. Yep. So no. So this is a tough spot for Jay to be in. I know he still has 7-drop Eustace in hand, which is a great threat to put on board. Unfortunately, he can't use Kinemon's effect since he has 2 characters with both of the Capones. That's the one thing that always frustrated me with Kinemon, is when you got stuck with 2 characters and you weren't able to use his effect. So he's going to swing 7 at the Tashigi. And Alan is not going to block. That was smart to get that off the board just so he can't use that effect. Especially because I'm guessing, yep, 7-drop is coming down. So you don't want him to be able to minus that with Tashigi. And a 3rd Capone. So he's got quite a wall he's building up here. Especially if he can maintain this and then drop some other large characters, like another Odin or something, to establish another threat. That would be great with that many blockers. We'll see what Alan does. He's going straight face, probably trying to whittle those blockers away. So it looks like 7 with Kobe. And he's going to block and use a counter. See what Alan does. Got a lot of Dawn left. So he's putting 4 on his blocker to bring him to 7, I believe. And he's going to attack the kid. And Capone to block. Which definitely makes sense. Want to keep those counters in hand. So we'll see what Alan chooses to do. He's still got Sakazuki as well. I think he's going to use his leader effect to pop a Capone and swing in 7 at the kid again. And there's the counter from hand. So we'll see. I'm guessing he's going to swing with Sakazuki, another 7. Yep, another 7 at the kid, which is either going to get rid of the last Capone or another card in hand. And get rid of that last one. Oh, he's going to swing with the Borsalino as well, which does take down the kid. Invested his whole turn there, 5 cards, just to get rid of that 7-drop kid. But that is a huge threat you want to get off the board, though, especially because you can swing for 8, and it re-stands at the end of turn. This puts Jay in a tough spot. He has the ability to free swing at any of Alan's characters since they're all rested, but he doesn't have any threats on board. So we'll see what he chooses to do here. I would probably be wanting to get rid of that Borsalino if it was me, just because that guy is such a pain to deal with. However, that Sakazuki's a big beat stick that's swinging at your face each turn as well. Looks like he's going for Kobe. Swung 8. And another 7-drop kid. So that's a great threat to have on the board, especially with a blocker. 3 life left. So he's not looking too bad right now in the position he's sitting at. And Alan's back up to 8 Dawn after leader effect. So you don't have to worry about 10-drop Kuzan, which is always a positive against black. Looks like he's going 7 at leader, and Jay just has the 1 card Yamato in hand, so yep, he's taking the life. Because I'm guessing you don't want to waste that 7-drop Eustace. He's going to swing 5 with his blocker. He's going to counter that one. Then another 7 with his Sakazuki. Jay's going to take that life as well. And then there's a second Borsalino. That card is just so frustrating to play against. Especially when I was playing red, because you can't jet pistol it or anything. Or even mirror match of black. Borsalino just kind of sits there forever, it feels like. So I know he does have the 4-drop Yamato in hand. I don't know if I saw the other card. So he could rest a Borsalino and swing with both his 7-drop and leader. Try and get one of them off the board. Or he could just go straight Faith here. So he's going to play at the Yamato and rest a Borsalino. Which leaves him 3, 7 Dawn. No, 6 Dawn. Oh, don't use Kinemon's effect for the 3. Okay, so he's left with 7 Dawn. He's going to put 1 on Eustace and swing 8 at life, it looks like. Let's see what he does. Yeah, I believe it's going at life. Yep. Each at 1 life now. Jay's at least got the 1 threat plus the new Yamato. Slowly rebuilding that board. And looks like 8 with lead at Borsalino. Try and get one of those guys out of there. And Alan does have, looks like the 4K counter for it. And 2 for a killer and 1, so you can hopefully draw a card. Killer is one of my favorite blockers. It's easy to get out, put 1 down on him. Easy to block, boom, draw an extra card. So it looks like 10-drop Kuzan here. So I'm guessing he's going to pop that Yamato or the blocker. Or he popped the kid. I'm not sure how he popped the kid. That might have been a misplay there. Because I'm not sure. I think it's 5 or below. So I'm thinking that was a misplay. But then leader effect. So that was a close one. I don't know if Jay could have survived that turn anyways, even with that kid. With all those attackers. But GG to Alan there. So these are kind of afterthoughts on this part right here. So Kuzan's effect wouldn't have been able to pop the Eustace there because it has to be a 0. However, I know in looking back, Jay only had Paradise Waterfall in hand with no active Dawn. So Kuzan would have had to have popped the killer, which would have removed 1 blocker. And then Alan would have had 4 swings available with 2 Borsalinos, Sakazuki, and the leader. So Jay would have been able to block one of those with his Eustace, but then the other ones would get through, and then even with the 1 life card, it still would have been game, but it looks like it was just a play mistake there. So either way, Alan would have taken that game.